Hi, it's almost Alex Norman here. In this video, we're going to be going over how being a photographer and taking more photos on a day-to-day basis is actually going to make you a better videographer and a better filmmaker when you're out there making the creations that you want to make. We're going to be going over 3 steps on how you can actually do this, and also 3 ways that this will actually help you a lot. And if you want to be a filmmaker, kind of improving your filmmaking through paying attention to specific things within photography. So this is a really exciting concept. Since I've been taking photography more seriously within my filmmaking, I have definitely improved the composition, my cinematography, just by paying attention to more of the stuff that goes on within a photographer's mind. So it's a really exciting video today. I completely forgot my radio mics, like we walked all the way here, forgot my radio mics, which I usually use to film these tutorials. So that's why I'm looking like a reporter with this microphone today, but we're gonna do it anyway. Let's go. Okay, so step or way number 1 in how photography makes you a better filmmaker is the way that you think about each frame. And so if we compare a photo to every shot you're getting in video, there's a really interesting way to think about it. I think naturally in video, people are more predisposed to be slightly more careless, because within a video, you can kind of have camera movement to make things look better, or things moving in the frame, so people are kind of almost distracted in a way from the composition. But in a photo, because everything's still, it's just one, there's nothing moving, it's just that, you're forced to consider the composition a bit more, and you're forced to really think about it and make it as good as you can, because that's it. And so if we start thinking about video in this way and start thinking about each of your shots as a photo, then you're immediately going to start looking for the exact composition you want within that shot. You're not going to be looking for gimmicks, for transitions, for movement to try and cover up anything that doesn't look that great. You're always going to be thinking, how can I get the most beautiful shot out of this scene, and how can I make it tell the story that I want? That's another thing within photography. You have to tell your story within that one frame. You have to say what you want to say, and you have one frame to do it. Within video, you've got 2 minutes, and you've got 20, 30, 50 shots to do that. But if we start looking at each shot as a photo, then you can tell a story within each shot, and that's what the best people do, especially within kind of higher-end documentaries, which is what we all want to aim to make, like the best stuff we can. They have a team thinking about every detail within each shot and how this shot can further the whole story, how it can be as beautiful and aesthetic as possible. We can do that on a smaller level as travel filmmakers. We can think about each of our video shots as a photo, and in this way it's going to make our videos so much better, so much more engaging, so much richer, and people are going to watch them more. Okay, so the rain has picked up a little bit now. We're just going to wait for it to stop. And we found this cool little bar, so we're just going to wait in here. We've actually got a little vermouth, and we'll get back to the video in a sec.
It's all natural wines. I don't know if you're into that. No, you're a hipster. A good product.
I like her peach.
Sounds like a pig. Vale, cosa número 2. No. Nada. Okay, so number 2 is all about composition. As I said before, when you're taking photographs, you generally pay much more attention to the composition because you only have one frame to express that. So we're going to be going over 3 typical photography composition rules pretty quickly in this video, so you can use them in your videos, not just your photos. Number 1, I'm sure you've heard of it, is a rule of thirds. This is 3 lines, or 2 lines, dissecting your video into thirds horizontally and also vertically. So you actually have 9 squares, like imaginary squares within your shot. You want to generally line up things on the either vertical or horizontal lines, and even better, put things on the points that dissect those lines. So here's a photo from my Instagram where I had my friend's wife, Diana, in the shot. Now, she was looking at her phone or reading something, and I very easily just put her on one of these dissecting points within the photograph, and it makes everything just look more aesthetically appealing. So you want to be thinking about this when you're doing videos. Whenever you're getting a shot, think about what is on the rule of thirds, what is on these lines, how can I use that to make my shot better? Quick composition rule number 2 is symmetry. If you can make things look the same, either side of your shot, either horizontally or vertically, things are always going to look better. So, for example, in this photo here, you can see the palm tree right in the middle of the photo, and either side is almost like a mirror. That's what makes this photo look appealing. I took on my Instagram a couple of weeks back. This one did really well because I think people just like the simplicity of it. And of course, this is a photo, but I think there's so many examples of if somebody was on that street with that palm tree with those buildings and they were making a video, they would have maybe thought, especially if it's just somebody making a travel video, they thought, oh, the street looks nice, let's get a quick shot, not think about the composition too much. Maybe if we move forward with a gimbal, we can get away with it looking cinematic. But really, that took me a long time to get that photo because I had to position myself perfectly. I wanted to get the ground in to get a nice texture in the foreground. I wanted to make sure everything was perfectly symmetrical with the buildings there. And so it was actually slightly harder to get that photo. And if you put that same amount of concentration and effort into your video, everything is going to come out super nice. Quick composition rule number 3, leading lines. This is where you specifically choose a subject, for example, a person, and then you have, or it could be an object, whatever you want basically the audience to pay attention to. And you have things within your photo leading towards that object, kind of like literally drawing people's attention to where that object is. So I did this very recently in a different photo on Instagram with a cable. So there was like a big, I don't know what they're called, like cable structure thing. And then very simply, there was cables like literally leading to that structure. It's a very kind of obvious, literal example of this, where there was cables leading to, because they're obviously literally attached to the cable, like the cable structure. You get me if you see the photo, right? And so that's a very obvious example. You have the lines and they're leading to this cable, so it literally draws your attention to this. Put it on the rule of thirds as well, and there you've got a nicely composed photo. You can also use this in a lot more kind of abstract terms. For example, the first shot of this video, the first or second shot, we saw this kind of ramp behind me, like pointing towards my face, so it wasn't attached to my face, obviously, but it's something behind me, subtly kind of pointing towards me, which is obviously where I want your attention to be within this video, so you pay attention to what I'm saying. Guys, listen to this. Listen to the sound this dog makes. It's literally like a pig. Okay, point number 3 is all about using a tripod within your videos. Obviously, you already know photo is one frame, right? So obviously there's no movement within the camera. You can never see camera movement within a photo, but within video, of course you can. Whether that's just handheld, slightly shaky footage, can be in a good way. Whether that's like poorly shaky footage, or you've got it on a gimbal, or you're doing like cinematic movement. However, one of the best learning lessons that I've found is going out for a day and shooting video with a tripod. If you go out and experiment with this, take a tripod with you, a cheap tripod, just to keep your camera in one place. And make sure you get shots that are between 5 and 10 seconds long. So like press record and just leave it for 10 seconds. Try and treat every single one of these shots like they are photos. So it's literally going to be like a photo, except there'll be movement within the shot. Maybe if you're in a city, that'll be people walking past, or maybe it's birds flying across, or maybe it's things moving forwards and backwards within the shot. Like this one here, we've got people going forwards and backwards, and then this, the actual camera is still, but things within the shot are moving. So it's a really interesting thing to play with. It's just eliminating completely all camera movement within your video and just going for the movement within the shot and treating it like a photo is a really useful exercise. I actually made a video all about this and actually a complete kind of exercise drill within the Travel Video Academy as well, with examples of myself doing this, which is a really exciting video for those members there. Within this, it's just the idea, you know, you just go out, just try it, go and do it and see what happens. Okay, guys. I apologize again for the lack of radio mics. I actually think the sound is probably going to sound better because it's more like rich and stereo, but we'll see. I'm going to edit it, play with it after this video. You guys let me know how it was in the comments below. As always, if you want a free list of gear, all the stuff that I use, go and hit that link below and you'll get that sent straight to your inbox, and also get like newsletters, tips and stuff about how to make travel videos if you're not on that already. And I'll see you very soon in the next video. Keep filming. Bye-bye.